Welcome to the AI Automations for Business podcast. We're your hosts, Katie and Noel, and we'll be discussing how you can use AI for your business along with the latest news, updates, and automations to help you stay ahead of the curve, allowing you to grow and scale your business more efficiently. Please be sure to subscribe, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, welcome back to another episode. Hello, I'm Katie. And as always, I've got Noel here with me today. How are you doing, Noel?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous again this week. Yeah, having a great week in the sun.
Another ab fab.
Absolutely, yeah. Can't go wrong with the sun shining, can we?
No, exactly. Yeah, for the last week, we've had a little bit of sunshine here in the UK, and it makes everything feel so much better.
It does, yeah. Yeah.
But you've had a good week?
Yes, yeah. Been a busy week with Clyde. He's doing a great job right now. So yeah, I think we're looking at a June launch for Clyde Cloud. Just ironing out the last few bugs and features and things like that. So yeah. So that's our AI agent, which can basically go off, create teams, and do anything for you. You don't have to ask it to do it. It will just go off and do it. It will learn. And yeah, it's a really awesome little tool.
Yeah. So are you feeling excited? Do you feel like you'll be ready for June?
Yes. So I was thinking of doing it this month, and then I started looking about and I thought, well, actually, this month isn't really a great month to do it.
No, you've got a lot going on this month.
I do. And I thought, just push it back like 2 weeks, or maybe a week. That's not going to make that much difference. So,
yeah. Noel turns 40 this month, and Noel's not really a birthday kind of person, but he's married to a Leo who loves nothing more than to celebrate birthdays. So yeah, we have lots of things planned throughout May.
We do, yeah, definitely.
You sound like you're not looking forward to any of them, but it's all things that you like.
It is, yeah. I am looking forward to it. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun month.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, June's going to be very boring in comparison.
But it won't be because of Clyde. You've got the Clyde.
Oh, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, are there any updates this week in the AI or automations world? Because that's how we always start our podcast. Any updates?
So there's nothing groundbreaking or new that's come out, but there is actually one fun story that OpenAI released that's about 7 or 8 days ago now. They've got a problem with goblins, which is a weird sentence to say.
With goblins, like as in like from the Labyrinth with the Goblin King with David Bowie.
Yeah, they've got
trousers.
Yes, exactly that.
One for the mums, that one was.
Yeah, they've got a problem with goblins, gremlins, orcs, and I can't believe I'm saying this as well, pigeons.
I'm sorry, no. What have pigeons done? Pigeons don't do anything wrong.
But they released an article the other week, which goes into like why so many people are seeing goblins or references to goblins in their chat and things like that. So, I mean, it's not a huge amount, but when you're looking at 800 million users per month or whatever, like 1% of that is a lot. That's quite a lot of people. So there'd be like someone would be saying, well, as an example was they'd reached a personal fitness goal. It was, you're training like a goblin. And they're like, what does that even mean? I don't understand. Yeah.
And
exactly, yeah. And I don't know, most people won't know what ASCII art is, but like back in the 90s when you used to create like pictures with your like punctuations, like forward slashes, backslashes,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff to
Yeah.
make a picture. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
before MMS was a thing.
Yeah, and you could create like a cat and
Yeah,
all
bigger
sorts of
smiley
things.
faces,
And oh
and
God, it would take you absolutely blinking ages. Yeah.
it would, yeah. So AI can obviously create those sort of things, and they show up in like terminals and stuff. But anyway, this guy asked for a unicorn, and he got back a goblin. So,
Wow.
uh, but where this all stems from is their GPT-5 model. So at the very start, like 5.1, there started to be like little bits about goblins, orcs, and mythical creatures creeping into the model. And it kind of got a bit worse with GPT 5.2, but it went exponentially worse when they went to 5.3. So at this point, they added in, if you remember now, they've got like a little option where you could select almost like the personality of the agent. So it would be like fun or, professional. What they added in was nerdy. And that nerdy thing went absolutely bonkers for Gremlins and, all this sort of stuff. So yeah, from that point on, all of their training kind of went a bit crazy, and all goblins started appearing everywhere. But yeah, they're trying to bring it back in and retrain it. But now they're finding every time they release a new model, it's kind of getting worse, and it gets worse over time as well. So yeah, it's an interesting problem they've got, I suppose. But yeah, I did find that one quite funny.
Yeah, because I guess like goblins and orcs together are like, um, it's not Lord of the Rings, is it? Because you have
Mm,
I'm trying to work out like where has it come from? Is it like
yeah.
D&D?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, it's probably something along those lines, yeah. But yeah, adding in that nerdy personality just blew it all up. But
Yeah.
um, so their coding platform called Codex is fully open source. So you could see all of the code, all the system prompts and all that sort of stuff. So somebody noticed in the system prompt for Codex, it explicitly says in there, do not make any references to goblins, gremlins, orcs, pigeons. I don't know why pigeons keep coming up, but obviously they keep coming
So
up in people's
random.
chats. Yeah, so that they're even putting it into like the back end prompts, so people aren't getting random references to mythical creatures in their responses. Yeah, but there is a get out of jail clause in their system prompt where it says, well, but if it's actually relevant, then yeah, obviously do mention it. But but yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was quite funny. Yeah,
Interesting. Really interesting.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, who knows what GPT 5.6 will be? That would be.
Maybe they'll start bringing in the unicorns, or I
uh,
don't know.
I know. Yeah,
Who knows? Who
crazy.
knows?
Yeah.
Okay, Noel. So, what are we talking about this week?
So I thought we'd talk about the 3 things to learn as like a solopreneur, small business owner with AI, and kind of like what you should focus on first. Because when I ever meet people at events and stuff, and I start talking about how long I've been, working with AI and automations and what I've been building, some of them are kind of new to it, and they're just like, how did you get from day one to year 4 almost?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do get asked this sort of question a lot, so I thought this is what we would cover in this episode.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as a solo business owner,
Mm-hmm.
where is and someone wants to start with AI, maybe they've only used ChatGPT, which I find is the most common thing that people have started with. Like when these people are talking to us at events, I
Mm-hmm.
found they're using a bit of ChatGPT, but that's kind of it.
Mhm.
what would be the very first thing that you would then go, okay, start here?
Yeah, so I think when you start using ChatGPT, it's very self-affirming. It's very, oh, this is amazing. This is great. Your ideas are brilliant. Um, and that's kind
Yeah,
of a flaw with ChatGPT. But I guess it kind of gives you that false sense of security that you can just go off and do anything with AI in your business. And it's not particularly true. Like we discussed last week, there's things that you probably shouldn't do.
yeah,
But I think like the first thing that you need to do is to sit back and then look at what your business does, how it operates, and try and figure out where AI could best help you. So don't think about AI as being like this magical thing that's just going to semi-retire you kind of thing. You're still going to need to be there to do stuff. It's not going to do everything for you. So that's kind of where I see some people going wrong, where they just think, just because I can, I will. But
yeah,
yeah, you probably shouldn't. So it's kind of almost taking a step back and assessing your business, and then go, right, well, what bits could I use AI for? Where could I, where do I need help? What do I struggle with? What stuff do I do that's repetitive and annoying? All those sort of things, and then start to then work out if AI could then help you out with those sort of things.
yeah. I totally agree. And as well, people think as well that they've got to use AI or an automation for the whole task. And actually
Mm,
they can just use it for part of the task. So actually, if there's a task that you do week in, week out, but there's only a very small part of it that you enjoy doing, well, continue doing the bit that you enjoy, but then
mm,
use AI or an automation or both to do the bits, I don't know, either side or the start of
mm.
it or the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Because you can also give it too much, and then you just fall out of love with it. Then, don't you? I suppose, and
Yeah.
that's not really why you started a business in the first
No,
place.
no, definitely not.
Yeah. So yeah, that is very important to think of that. But yeah, that's where I always see people fall over is they just get baffled by what it can do, and then just think do everything, and then end up in a bit of a jumbled mess.
Yeah.
They might have things that work, things that don't work, or there's just too much going on. They don't really know what's happening.
Yeah, and I
So,
think as well, like you can get swept up a lot by what you see online. It's kind of like automate this
mm,
in your business or do this in your business or you can do that in your business, but actually is that gonna work for you in your business? And actually, are you
yeah,
taking away something that makes you feel really creative or something that makes you feel connected to your business?
mm,
And that's what you need to be aware of. Like you were saying, Noel, just because you can doesn't mean that you should.
exactly, yeah, yeah,
And yeah,
yes.
and our whole episodes that we did last week all on it.
Yeah, it's a tricky balance, isn't it? Yeah,
It is
to
because you
figure
do
out.
kind of get swept up by the hype online, I think, and just
Mm,
like, oh yeah, like that's cool. But I see things and I think, oh, that's really cool, like how that person's using it for that particular part of their business. But either that's not relevant for me or I wouldn't want to do that, but I really appreciate it.
yeah, yeah. You always see like different ways of someone's tackled the same problem, isn't it? And you're like, that's cool. I haven't seen that before, but
Yeah,
I'll keep that to one side, and then maybe one day, that might be relevant to me or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. You almost as well need to think about measuring how well your AI or automations are doing as well when you're going through this process. So
mm,
we always advocate for starting off little bits and then building it from there and seeing where it goes kind of thing. But yeah, you just need to keep a control on it, I would say,
yeah,
and measure it over time. Otherwise, yeah, you'll think you're saving hours and hours of time, but actually, when you look at it, you might not be if you're
hmm,
not careful.
yeah,
You're spending that time saved going off trying to figure out what it's done and monitoring what's happening.
yeah.
It's yeah.
But sometimes it isn't always about time. It is actually about, things you do struggle with, or things that you just cannot stand, within your business. Because, it's always that shock, isn't it? When we think, oh, I'm going to start a business because I'm really passionate about this, or actually I'm really good at this. And I think, it would help other people. You don't then think of like actually all the other things that are included in running a business. And like some
Yeah.
things you don't know about them until you're actually in it. You're in the trenches and you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I would have to do this, or I didn't even know this was a thing. Like, how on earth do I do this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I guess also like you mentioned as well, the shiny object syndrome as well. It's like there's AI tools coming out every day at the minute.
Yeah.
So you don't have to try them all.
No.
Yeah.
I know. I did see the other day something about Notion, and it was like how to automate all of this Notion stuff, and it was all made to look really pretty and cute. And I was like, oh my God, that looks amazing. And then I remembered how much I do not like using Notion. And I was like, whoa. Me and Notion don't work together. Like, my brain does just not work with Notion. I think Notion is absolutely amazing as a platform. Like, I'm not saying it isn't. It just does not work for my brain.
No, you're not a spreadsheet kind of person.
No.
There's lots of databases, isn't there?
Yeah, no. I don't like that sort of layout, and I know you can change the layouts and stuff like that. But for me, I don't know. Maybe I haven't found the right layout within Notion for me, and that's something that I need to explore. But yeah, for me right now, yeah, Notion's a no. I really wish it wasn't, because I'd love to be that like organized person who like, oh, I'll just put that in my Notion. But even the thought of me of having to enter things into Notion is a nightmare. And I know like now you can automate it, but like for me, it would just be a graveyard of things that AI has entered into Notion for me. It would never get looked at.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's a really good example of like, we see something really cool and it looks really aesthetic, and oh God, like I would be so organized and things like that. And then it's just like, wait, do I actually work like that? No. Just because something's aesthetically pleasing, it looks pretty, it looks cute, and it can be automated, will I actually use it? And I think these are the conversations that you've got to have with yourself, and not get swept up with the hype.
Exactly. Yeah, because you get that with kind of every business tool, isn't it? Where it could be a CRM or whatever. I mean, this morning I was looking at Ahrefs for keyword research and stuff like that, and like that's $99 a month to start off with. And I was like, oof, no. So I had a chat with Claude, and I built my own version of like all the bits that I was actually interested in, because there's so many features on there that I'm not interested in.
Yeah, you didn't want to pay for all of the features that were available to you.
Exactly, yeah. So I got the data from somewhere else, and it was like, yeah, you just got to chuck in $50, and yeah, you're going to use like 0.1 of a cent for every time you use this. So I'm like, great, well, that $50 is going to last me a long time, because I'm only going to use this a bit. So, so yeah.
And that's what I love about AI now. It's like you can take bits of software that you were like, well, I only want that bit and that bit, and I don't need actually the other features like right now. And then you can go away and build your own app.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bonkers, isn't it? How easy it is.
Yeah. But let's go back to the first 3 steps of using AI. Yeah, so let's not go off on a tangent and tell people, oh, you can build apps and you can stuff, especially like when they're like, actually, I just want to get started. So what would step 2 be?
So for me, what I found with step 2 is kind of, using an AI chat model, or whether it be ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, DeepSeek. I don't know, that could be your flavor. It's kind of getting into one of those platforms and learning it in a deep way. So I used to find that I always used to flitter about between Claude and ChatGPT all the time. And
You
in
did.
the end, I was like, oh, you know what? I just don't know why I'm using this ChatGPT. It was like, for me, it just didn't work. It didn't work with the way I worked. And I was like, right, I'm just gonna cut my ties and learn Claude. So for you, that could be, I don't like Claude. I'm going to do ChatGPT, and either way is fine. It's up to you how you work. So yeah, it's kind of like really having like a deep understanding of that platform and getting the best out of it. So there's plenty of things around showing you stuff. I'm sure there's millions of TikToks about each platform,
Hmm.
what you could do and how they all work and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I would pick one, stick with it. That could be for like 6 months or whatever. Really learn it in a deep way, and you'll find you'll get so much out of using AI, within your business and things like when you start doing that. Because I was just wasting time using
Yeah.
all the other tools, and I was like, no, just and put all my eggs in that basket, and then hope it doesn't collapse.
Yeah.
Which it won't. But
I know for me, so I've spoken about this several times on the podcast. I got really fed up with ChatGPT. I just feel like it was just giving me really basic answers, and it was saying like really surface level, and some of the things I wanted it to be able to like go much deeper, and the questions I wanted it to ask me back, like they were just really basic and surface level, and I was just like, no, this isn't cutting it for me anymore.
Mhm.
So but I can remember like when I was like, oh, but I don't want to have to then like learn Claude, and then like Claude doesn't know me, and I know like you can transfer all of your information over, but actually because I knew that ChatGPT wasn't really giving me the answers that I wanted, I wasn't having the conversations with it,
Mhm.
and the outputs weren't, what I wanted. I just kind of went for a clean break, and I
Mm.
started from scratch with Claude. And like obviously I gave it a lot of information about me and things like that. And actually it was nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Mm.
And I'm so glad that I made that change, because how I use Claude and what I use it for is now completely different for how I was using ChatGPT and also what I was using it for.
Mm.
So I feel like I'm in a much better place with Claude than I was in with ChatGPT. It's just getting over that initial fear of, oh God, I've got to start all over again. And I don't think really the platforms are that different.
No, I think the concepts are very similar, aren't they?
Yeah.
They've just got maybe different features, isn't it, more than anything?
Yeah. But if you can find your way around ChatGPT, then you can find your way around Claude, I think.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say it going the other way round would probably look less feature rich. So if you went from Claude to ChatGPT,
Mm.
you'll probably find there's quite a bit missing in ChatGPT, compared to Claude. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think like for me and why I picked Claude was not only just like how it talks and stuff and the stuff I get out of it, but kind of like looking at that future roadmap. So I quite like the coding bit. So that's made really simple within the Claude platform. They then added co-work, which
Mm.
allows you to automate things on your laptop and stuff like that. So I was like, that's really awesome, and how that works. And then recently they released live artifacts, so you could create almost like it's not like a live dashboard. I suppose no, it is a live dashboard, but basically you would ask for a live artifact, and then it would then go and gather your data, whether that be from a spreadsheet, could be from Notion, I don't know. It could draw that information in from your accounts and then display it on like a dashboard. So it could be like your sales funnel and stuff like that. And it could bring all that live data in, and then you could then chat with Claude and
Mm.
see that information on one screen, kind of thing. It's like, wow, okay, I didn't know I needed it until I saw it, kind of thing. So yeah, but yeah, learning, really getting into it and learning one platform, like you'll find your learning curve would be so much shallower. It's so much easier to do than try and learn everything.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe Noel, like you need to do a in-depth training on Claude for everyone. If you're
Yes.
listening and that's something you are interested in, either email us hello@makeautomations.ai, or again, come and let us know on Instagram, Make Automations AI, or you can come and let us know in our free LinkedIn group, which is AI Automations for Business, and it's completely free to join. So let us know if that's something you'd be interested in. If we get enough interest, then we will put that on, and we'll make sure that it's accessible for everyone as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different things. Like already my brain's going crazy with the.
Okay. Well, let's see if this is something that
Yeah.
our podcast listeners want. But yeah, do let us know if this is something that you would be interested in. We'll get Noel onto it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so to move on to the third thing, the third piece of the puzzle, which I would look at if I started afresh today, would be like an automation platform to connect things together. So you might not be super technical, not everyone's technical. I fully appreciate that, but I think with like some of the no-code automation platforms, they make it as simple as possible. So you're not having to think, oh my God, how does these API documents, I don't understand these, whereas like a no-code automation platform like make.com would just be like, well, you want data coming from the spreadsheet out of this column, and then you want it going into this app, into this bit here. And that's all you need to know. Like you can probably work that out quite easily. But yeah, if you try to reverse engineer API documentation, you could be there for hours or never figure it out. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth investing some time in learning those tools. I think they are still relevant. Like I said, you could go down that coding route and create your own stuff, but for anyone that's starting out, then yeah, using anything like N8N, Make, Zapier, that would help you out from day one. And that would help you out with all those repetitive stuff, because one thing that we talked about, was that end of last year, start of this year, was like, people are wasting time chatting to AI, whereas really they should be letting AI do stuff in an automation which just runs automatically. So, a client enters your sales funnel and then something just happens. You don't even need to know what's going on. You just then see the output from whatever the automation does for you. So yeah, it's definitely still worth learning. And yeah, what you can build as well is like, it could be the really basic, or it could be super complicated, and and do all these incredible, amazing things for your business. But I think you'll find like even like 3 or 4 step automations in any of those platforms would easily revolutionize a simple process in a business. So yeah, definitely well worth investing some time in those tools.
Yeah, and as well, it's like really thinking about when you go to automate things, it's kind of like, what are those repetitive tasks? What am I doing, either daily, weekly, monthly, that actually I could set up an automation for? And sometimes you don't even need AI, do you, for those things?
No. You could like be moving data from one application to another, or whatever, or or just simply saving an email into like a CRM or whatever when it gets received. That doesn't need AI in there to do it for you. You're just linking the two together. But yeah, it's done really, really easily in those platforms.
Yeah. And this 3-step guide is actually something that we teach with inside of our membership, the AI Business Club. And it is, going through these first 3 steps with you and in detail. It's a bit of hand holding. So actually you know exactly how to get started, how to move on, and then actually build either your first automation or, it's using AI to help you with something. So it goes way beyond just using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. We also, will help you look at what is the right software for you. We have trainings as well on the different softwares that you can use for AI automations, as well as tutorials on actually how to set up your initial first automations. We give you some suggestions as well. And as always, if you get stuck, you've got Noel on hand answering your questions. Noel's in there giving detailed personal answers to your questions. It's not kind of, I'll answer this on a live and then actually you don't really get your questions answered, which I've seen a lot of during my time. He will go in there and individually reply to your question for your business, which I don't think you get many other places. So that is the AI Business Club. You can find us over on the School platform. We would absolutely love to have you join us. You can join for a month and check it out, and if you don't like it, you can just cancel, but hopefully you will like it and you'll want to stay. And we're always updating it as well with new things, any updates and things like that. So thank you so very much for listening to this week's podcast episode. We hope you've enjoyed it. We hope you found it helpful, and we'll catch you for another episode very soon.